Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV. My name is Ben Kelly. This is the Liverpool Development Watch, the final normal Liverpool Development Watch of the season. We've got plenty more of this type of thing to come, but for now this is it. It's a very short show this week. I imagine it'll be one of the shortest shows of the season, just purely because there isn't as much to talk about. I've thrown a little bit of news in there as well to try and pad it out a bit, but ultimately I'm not going to be here very long. We're going to start then with some bits of loan news that we've still got knocking about. We're going to start with Naby Keita here. Now his fee has finally been finalised. The amount of money that we're going to have to pay RB Leipzig for him this summer. They finished 6th in the Bundesliga after beating Hertha Berlin 6-2 away from home on Saturday in the final round as Bundesliga's fixtures. This means that they qualify for next season's Europa League, which means that we pay the middle price possible for us, which is £52.75 million, which I think is going to be an absolute bargain. We could have ended up with 48, but I think that it'll prove to us over the course of next season that he was definitely worth that few extra million quid. And even if we'd end up paying the 58 million, was it, if they got into the Champions League, he would have been worth that because he's really, really good at football. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, here's your final Keita countdown for the season. I say your final one, I'll find a few ways to be able to update you all. But in the last show of the season, it's 49 days until Naby Keita finally puts on a Liverpool shirt on July 1st. We've got Champions League final, we've got bits of the World Cup to come before that day, but it's getting closer. Divock Origi then staying in Germany, got a goal for Wolfsburg as they beat FC Cologne to keep their chances of staying in the Bundesliga alive. This basically means that they need to play in the relegation playoff against Holstein Kiel, who are in Bundesliga 2, in order to maintain their status as a Bundesliga side. They actually did this last year and managed to survive. It's a two-legged tie that's going to be played on the 17th and 21st of May. It'd be interesting to see what sort of influence Divock Origi has on those two games and whether that will have an effect on his long-term future at Liverpool or not. Daniel Sturridge got 20 minutes for West Brom as they finished their season with a whimper. They lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace, already relegated, didn't really finish with a flourish unlike Stoke. It happens sometimes, doesn't it, where the pressure's off a bit. If you're already relegated and you just go out and play your football, you tend to win a game. That didn't happen for West Brom. It's been reported this week, though, by James Pearce and Paul Joyce, obviously the holy grail of Liverpool journalists, that Jurgen Klopp's pretty much just ready to wash his hands of Daniel Sturridge in the summer, which is completely understandable. Injuries really have ruined his Liverpool career, and it's a shame because obviously we'll always have the memories of 13-14 where him and Suarez were just, unplayable at times during that season. Scored so many goals between them, not quite as many as our current front three. I don't think we're going to miss him that much in the grand scheme of things now, but whether you like him or not, whether you have faith in him or not, which a lot of people have lost the faith in Daniel Sturridge, it's fair to say that he's been a fantastic Liverpool player, and it will be a bit of an end of an era when he goes, just because that type of player that Brendan Rodgers signed, that group of players are starting to move on now. And look, we're moving on to brighter and better things with the Champions League final under Jurgen Klopp on the way, and etc. etc. But it will be a sad day when Daniel Sturridge is sold, whether you like him or not, essentially. But we'll move on, though, to Anderlecht. Now, Lazar Markovic isn't actually a player that I've been including, just purely because nobody really cares. But for this particular show, why not? They are hoping to make his loan move permanent. They actually quite like him out there. He's had quite a successful spell. Clearly not as good of a league as the English league, and I think he went out to Portugal last season. I can't remember. But yeah, they actually quite like him over there. They want him permanently. All the fans have really grown to like him. Obviously, when he arrived in January, all of them were thinking it was a joke. They really thought, oh my God, he's so rubbish. Obviously, they'd heard about the bad reviews that he got in England with Liverpool. He was overweight when he arrived. He had to spend several weeks losing weight before he could actually play. But ever since he's found a bit of form, he's done really well. So look, I really wish him well. It's not worked out for him at Liverpool. He's one of those Brendan Rodgers signings that we all thought might have worked out, but didn't. It hasn't. And hopefully he'll go on and build a better career for himself out in Belgium, if that is the case, if Anderlecht do end up buying him. And let's move on to Rhian Brewster now. A lot of you will have seen the news this week linking Rhian Brewster with a move away from Liverpool, which I find quite interesting and a bit of a surprise, to be honest, because obviously earlier on in the season he got himself injured. He's had a torrid time of it in the back end of the season. I think he got himself injured in January. But since the injury, it's been reported that next season Jurgen Klopp is genuinely considering using him as one of our striking options. Obviously, our backup strikers haven't been the best this season. Look, I love Danny Ings to bits, and Dom Slanke obviously scored yesterday against Brighton, and obviously that's really promising. Maybe he's making a little bit of progress, but overall we haven't got that real firepower as backup to Roberto Firmino. And Rhian Brewster had obviously done it at the Under-17s World Cup. He was doing it under Neil Critchley in the Under-23s. He was doing really well for himself, and he was sort of hammered by this injury, but despite despite that, it was being reported that Klopp was ready to use him next season as a striking option in the first team, and it was all looking really promising for him. And now suddenly he's been linked with a move away. I'm not sure why. Don't see how it benefits him. He's got a future here at Liverpool mapped out. It's not like some players where you think, I'm not really sure how they get into the first team long term. But in this case, he has. It's a little bit confusing. He's been linked with Borussia Monchengladbach, RB Leipzig, Bayern Munich and Celtic. And even today, fresh reports are linking him with Spurs. I doubt we'd let him go to Spurs. The rumours are he'd be going for free if that's the case as well. Look, I don't know how much control we have over this situation. It's not necessarily completely clear. I don't know if it's just paper talk or, you know, a load of rubbish essentially. But the Telegraph did report yesterday that Liverpool are considering reporting Mönchengladbach for an illegal approach, which would be interesting to see how that goes down. Obviously, we've had a ban. I think we're still under the ban for tapping up a Chelsea player not too long back. So it'll be interesting to see how we go about that if indeed Mönchengladbach are punished for it. The club are led to believe that they've done something wrong by tapping him up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes along. But a few young English players have gone out to Germany and have had a bit of joy. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Man City lost Jadon Sancho to Borussia Dortmund recently, and obviously Everton's Ademola Lookman has been out on loan since January at RB Leipzig, and he's had a very successful loan spell there. So it is becoming a bit more of a mouth-watering prospect for these young English talents to go out there and potentially make a name for themselves in Germany. So maybe that's where Rhian Brewster is in his head. He's seen other players go out and do it. Maybe he thinks there's a bit more of a chance for him there to get a bit more first-team action and make a name for himself. I don't know. For me, if I was Jurgen Klopp and I wanted him in the side next season, I'd be telling him that right now. I'd be on the phone. We've got a couple of weeks to the Champions League final. The transfer window opens in a few days. Get on the phone to Rhian Brewster, make him promises about next season, because look, we're going to have plenty of games for him to get a chance next season. All the league games. We're back in the domestic cups. We're back in the Champions League again. There's going to be opportunities for him, and that's what Jurgen Klopp needs to be telling him. Overall, I just think it's best off here. You know, he's in a good place. He's well appreciated by fans. Neil Critchley's spoken very highly of him. So Steven Gerrard before that move to Rangers. If he was going to go anywhere, I'd send him to Rangers on loan to work under Gerrard again. That would be a fantastic thing for him, because he'd probably get in the first team there as well. And he's playing competitive football. It's a tough league as well up in Scotland, so he'd probably be taught a few lessons by Celtic players if he was at Rangers. But that sort of thing can be good for him. And yeah, we'll just have to see how that one goes along. But ladies and gentlemen, I did say it would be a short show, and that is the end this week for the Liverpool Development Watch, and it's the end for the regular Liverpool Development Watch of the season. We've got bits and bobs coming up, discussing players' futures. We're going to do a loan rating show. We're going to sit down with somebody, possibly Andy Kelly from the Echo, and do a podcast about the youth players and things like that. So there's stuff coming. You will not be short on your loan news and on 23's news. You can be sure of that. But thank you very much for watching this week. Thank you very much to those who've watched across the season. It's been an absolutely fantastic season being able to make and produce this show. Very proud of the work I've put in. Thanks everybody who's left a comment, everybody who's left criticism for me to improve on. Thank you everybody who's left compliments about me style and just everything. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. I will see you in August when Naby Keita will finally be a Liverpool player and will be able to, well, it's going to leave a void in the show, isn't it? It's going to leave a void in the show. Maybe I can find something else to count down to. But thank you very much for watching as always. Do all the usual stuff for the last time this season. Like the comment, leave a video. No, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at bkelly776, all that good stuff. I will see you soon on shows throughout the summer and, of course, when this show returns back in August. Goodbye.